Lazarus Seaman was an English clergyman, supporter in the Westminster Assembly of the Presbyterian party, intruded Master of Peterhouse, Cambridge, and nonconformist minister. Life. He was a native of Leicester, where he was born of poor parents early in the 17th century. On the 4th of July 1623, he was entered as a sizar at Emmanuel College, Cambridge, where he graduated B.A. in 1627, M.A. in 1631. Lack of funds led him to leave Cambridge and teach a school, apparently in London. He was chosen lecturer at St. Martin's, Ludgate, and became chaplain to Algernon Percy, 10th Earl of Northumberland. In 1642, he was presented by William Laud to the rectory of All Hallows, Bread Street. Laud made this presentation out of courtesy to Northumberland, and complained that, nonetheless, Henry Montague, 1st Earl of Manchester, had written to pressure him, commanding him in the name of the House of Lords to give the benefice to Seaman. In 1643, he was nominated a member of the Westminster Assembly, and he was a regular attendant, saying there on the 18th of February 1645, "In no institution did God go against nature." On the 11th of April 1644, Seaman was admitted Master of Peterhouse, Cambridge, by Edward Montague, 2nd Earl of Manchester, in place of John Cosin, ejected on the 18th of March. He was an absentee for much of the time, clashed with the fellowship, and imposed the election of his son as fellow. On the 6th of November 1645, Seaman was placed on the Committee of Accommodation designed by Parliament to arrange terms for the comprehension of the independents. The project fell through, as the independents rejected the planned comprehension and insisted on religious toleration. He was one of the remonstrants against the toleration of separate congregations, and maintained in the Westminster Assembly the divine right of the Presbyterian discipline. At the second meeting of the Provincial Assembly of London, Seaman, a member of the First London Classis, was moderator. In September to November 1648, he was one of the 4 Presbyterian divines commissioned to the Isle of Wight to recommend the case to Charles I in discussion with the king. Aided by Episcopalian divines, Charles complimented Seaman on his ability. In January 1649, he signed the vindication drawn up by Cornelius Burgess, protesting against the king's trial. He proceeded d. in 1649. In 1653, he was Vice-Chancellor of Cambridge, and in 1654 was appointed by Oliver Cromwell, one of the visitors of his university. On the English Restoration, John Cosin was restored as Master of Peterhouse on the 3rd of August 1660. Seaman held aloof with William Jenkin and a few others from the negotiations with Charles II in the Presbyterian interest, and was looked upon as an uncompromising man, whom it was useless to tempt with offers of preferment. He resigned his benefice in consequence of the 1662 Uniformity Act. His successor, Risdon, was appointed on the 26th of August 1662. On the passing of the 5 Miles Act of 1665, Richard Baxter drew up a statement of reasons for not taking the oath which exempted from its operation. Seaman persuaded him to abstain from publishing it, and recommended a policy of silent patience. He privately ministered to a congregation of his former parishioners, preached publicly after the Great Fire of London of 1666, and after the Indulgence of 1672 built a chapel in Meeting House Yard, Silver Street, Wood Street, Holborn. Anthony Wood, who knew him personally, refers to him respectfully as a learned nonconformist. Quote, He died in Warwick Court, Newgate Street, about the 9th of September 1675. Jenkin preached his funeral sermon on the 12th of September. An elegy on his death was issued as a broadsheet. His library of 5,000 books was sold at auction, the first time an auction of this kind had been held in England. Works besides sermons before Parliament, before the Lord Mayor, and a farewell sermon. Seaman published the Delta Iota Alpha Tau Rho Iota Beta proved to be Pi Alpha Rho Alpha Delta Iota Alpha Tau Rho Iota Beta Eta, a vindication of the Reformed Church from misrepresentations concerning the ordination against Cedric Simpson and Edmund Chillenden. His Majesty's Papers, with an answer, by Mr. Seaman, reprinted as the papers which passed between His Majesty and Mr. Seaman concerning church government. He prefixed an address to A Glance of Heaven by Richard Sibbes.